Hello everybody. So my friend Darron asked me to do a tutorial for him for apparently for a site that he plays on. Now, it's a site I used to play on as well, so kind of makes sense. But anyway, so he wants me to show you guys like some basic techniques on how to edit a photo. Now, I'm on his iPixie account. I don't use the site very often, but he loves using the site. So I've got a list here of what he wants me to basically go over with you guys. So first of all, he says to start off with textures, which is at the bottom of the list, which I guess means this list. Oh, okay, there it is. Now he says, first off, I want to say light leaks is not the best to use. It is difficult to get right, and it doesn't really fit with most photos. However, if you think you can make this fit, feel free to use them. Personally though, I avoid this one like a plague. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so he doesn't recommend using this one. Says, however, the light ones below it work well for photos to make them kind of brighten up a bit. Personally, I like 1 and 3 of these. Oh, okay. The paper texture is good if you want your photos to look like it is on an old piece of paper. You can make this look crumpled, or you can make it look like it's over top of text. However, my favorite to use is 3. Because it looks like it's on a piece of paper that's been crumpled up, as if it's an old photo that's been thrown away. You can change the fade to make this look more like a piece of paper or less like a piece of paper. That choice is completely up to you, whichever one looks good to you. Grunge is fantastic for making photos look old and worn, or to darken up a bright photo. This is personally my favorite, and I use this very often. Okay. Basically, these are good to use if you want to make a photo dark, or if you want to make it look more as if it's an old photo. This pairing goes well with the different paper photos as well. You can mess around with the fade on this one as well. Personally, my favorite is number 6, which I guess is, yeah, this one. But I also use the first and the third. However, with the third, I make it so it's very faded, so it's not quite as dark. Okay. The first, I usually leave it the way it is. Same with the 6th one. Oh, okay. Miscellaneous is another one I use a lot. Number 5 is my personal favorite and goes really well with any of the grunge. Specifically number 6 of grunge. Oh, okay. This is a great way to make it look more personalized, and it has a unique texture to it as well. You can fade this to make it look more solid, or you can make it look less obvious. However, I like to put this at 0 and pair it with a grunge. However, the choice is completely up to you. There are other textures that you can use, and feel free to mess around with them as much as you can. However, I won't be asking Maya to put them in this video. That's weird, I just basically said I'm not asking myself, whatever. Okay, like I said, I'm reading off of a script that he gave to me. Anyway. Next up, let's talk about frames. Okay. Easiest frames to use are glossy, mirror, and vintage. Oh, I guess he means this one. Vintage, or whatever. The glossy frame is like a shiny frame that goes around the actual photo. Museum frame is basically the same thing, but it doesn't work as well because it doesn't have that glossy finish to it. You can mess around with these as much as you like. However, I don't really use these very often. since I don't find that they work well with photos. But if you have a photo that works great with this, then by all means use it. I try to find photos that I can use this one on as much as possible. The one I use most is mirror frame for photos, because basically what it does is it takes your photo and puts it as the frame. Oh. You can tint the color of the frame as much as to whatever color you like. However, I typically do it to the very top, which is white, which makes it so it's the actual photo itself. And then you can change the polish, thickness, and shadow. I don't usually mess with the shadow, however the polish can be as faded or as solid as you like. If you want, you can go down to 0, and it will make it so that it's the actual photo itself. And if you bring up the thickness itself, it will make more of the photo be the actual frame. I usually don't go above 50. Oh, okay. I usually don't go above 55 because then it just looks like too much is on screen. However, it's completely up to you. Vintage is another one I use. I like to pair it with the mirror because it puts a shadow on the actual photo itself. So I guess this is what I mean by vintage. Okay, yeah. You can tint the colors itself, but I typically do it as a black shadow. And I don't usually put the size above 50, which is the default. Strength, however, you can mess around with. It is completely up to you. You can also blend this with the image to make it look more natural. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, I get it. I usually don't blend it, however, and keep the strength below 75. Oh. But once again, this is another thing that you can mess around with. However, the one I avoid is reflection, because this is extremely hard to use and it doesn't really work with most photos. However, if you want it to look like there's a mirror underneath it, I recommend taking off transparency, which I guess is this, and putting it to 100, 100. Like that. This gives it a mirror look, if that is what you like. However, this does not work well with any of the other frames, so I recommend this being the only one that you use if you want to have a frame. Okay. He has a little note here. Turn page. Okay. Next up, I want to talk about text and stickers. And he has a little note here. It is under the button that looks like 3 pages stacked on. Oh, okay, 3 pages stacked on top of each other. Okay, so it says T. Font styles are great to use. There are many different ones, but my personal favorite is Base 05. Okay, so I'll actually put that there so you can see it. They said Base 05. Oh, okay, so there's like a bunch of different ones you can use. And he recommends I use this one for the actual tutorial here. When coloring the actual text themselves, I recommend using gradient, stroke, and bevel together. Okay. Basically what Gradient does is it allows you to give the text itself multiple different colors. You can change the angle of this as well to make it so it looks more unique. And then he says here, like, pick 4 random colors, so. Actually, we'll make these more, like, obvious difference. Do green. Hold on. Just to make them, like, obviously different colors, so we'll do it like that. Okay, and he says, like, you can change the angle. The default is 90, but you can put it higher or lower to change which direction the actual colors go in. Oh, okay. Basically, all stroke does is puts a border around your text themselves to make it more stand out, to make it more obvious and stand out. I typically do dark colors, like black or the darkest gray. You can change the size of this as well, but I usually don't go above 20 because anything above that overtakes the text itself. but it's completely up to you. Oh, okay. I lost my place. Hold on. Bevel is one of my more favorite ones because it gives your text a bit of a gloss look to it. I don't mess around with the settings very much, but it is up to you. You can make the distance. You can change the distance to make it look more glossy. Softness doesn't really make much of a difference. It just kind of makes it so that it's not as solid. But once again, you can mess around with this to your heart's content and pick which one you like best. But like I said, I usually use it as the default setting. An interesting thing you can do is make each word or letter of your statement unique by making them their own color, texture, or font. All you have to do is simply make separate. All you have to do is simply make them separately. So I guess what he means is like this. So you can do your, and then like text, and he just says like, yeah, he says do your, make another one, do text, pick a random style and a random color combination. So okay, so I guess we'll do that, and then we'll go like this. Oh, okay. So then you can do like that, you know, so it's like different text. It's unique that way, I guess. Stickers are pretty much exactly the same. The only thing that I recommend you do is fade them when you use them. This is my show stickers. Okay, so I guess I'm just gonna apply that. So, I guess these are stickers. It says to pick a random one, so let's go with this one. Okay, so he says basically the same. I like to use the radial effect on these, however, because it takes colors that goes from the middle outward. Oh. Oh, cool. And he says, I recommend you fade them slightly so that they're not as imposing. And I don't recommend changing the Y or X positions because then it just looks odd and slightly off. I also recommend keeping the setting to normal for these because the other ones don't really work as well. They mess with your colors too much, unless you want it to be messed up. That is completely up to you. Once again, this is a great way to test things. Don't forget you can also flip the sticker around or upside down using the arrows. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, so you can flip them. Again, messing around with these to your heart's content, whichever way you like best. It is completely up to you. 100% customizable. Okay. As of right now, that is all I'm really going to give information on now, since I don't really know what other questions you guys might have. If you have any other questions, send me a blood letter and I'll have my friend do another video for you guys. Right now, I hope this answers any questions you might have and helps you get onto the path of editing your own custom photos uniquely to you. If you have any questions about things in this particular video themselves, send me a blood letter and I will try my best to help out. Okay. And he just says, say bye at the end of the page. So basically, this is like information for you guys on how to really use the different things. So I hope this is good. I hope this makes sense. If not, like he said, you know, send him a blood letter and he'll answer your questions as much as he can. But with that said, I'm gone. Bye guys, and good luck, and have fun editing your photos. Bye!